Hey guys, welcome back to the Ant Bay. Hope you guys had an amazing week, and today's episode will be on the famous tubs and tubes setup. I posted a poll on our Instagram asking what episode I should make first, and over 50% of you guys wanted to see the tubs and tubes setup. And luckily, I had two colonies that could use a better environment to live in. The tubs and tubes method is a very popular method in the ant keeping community. The method covers all three bases. 1. It's super easy. 2. It's very cheap. And 3. It's a simple way to provide your ants a home and environment that can sort of resemble the wilderness that they live in. So, let's get started. To successfully raise a colony, we must provide three simple things. 1. Nesting area. 2. Foraging area. And 3. Their trash area. Luckily, the tubs and tubes setup covers all three aspects. Next, we have to consider the space which our tubs and tubes will be located and what size of the container. The container can be pretty much anything. A plastic or glass container does the trick amazingly. Don't forget that the container must accommodate the nesting, foraging, and trash areas, so please take that into consideration. Here are the things I will be using to make the tubs and tubes setup. A simple container, substrate, fluon, decorations, and most importantly, the ants in the test tube. Now that we have everything we need, let's dig in. First things first, escape preventions. And for this, I will be using fluon. And it is probably the best friend an ant keeper could ever have. This prevents the ants from escaping by making a surface super slippery, and it is ant safe. That means you don't have to worry about hurting your ants or poisoning them. To apply the fluon, you can use a brush or a cotton. In my case, I'm using whatever this is. Brush foam? I don't know the name. Apply your fluon upside down. This will help prevent drip marks. Depending on the species and the colony size, this can be effective up to 3 months. However, I'd like to reapply the fluon every few weeks or so. Now if you don't have fluon or can't find any in your area, then you can simply mix baby powder and rubbing alcohol. For my substrate, I will be using this orange and reddish sand from Australia. I've seen so many other ant keepers use this sand and it always looks amazing. It is super rich in color and helps your ants stand out. Unless you have the same exact color ants. Next, identify the place that you want to keep your test tubes. In my case, I don't have much space to work with, so I will be placing my test tubes in the center. Now that we know where we want to place our test tubes, we need to make a thin layer of sand, and this will help prevent your test tubes from rolling around. I will be keeping the test tubes fully enclosed, but if I ever want to take a peek from the top, I can easily remove the sand and voila, ants. The important thing to remember here is to make sure to have your sand super dry and try not to have moisture build up, or else your ants might decide to move into the sand instead of the test tube. In my case, I have my honeypot ants, and they do live in the sand in the desert, so I really have to be careful around them. Ants are curious creatures, so they like to explore and climb things. For this, I will be decorating the area with some small rocks and a twig. This gives a little bit of a naturalistic feel to the environment, and it's not too boring to look at. Eventually, the colony will grow too big for the test tube, or the water will run out. In that case, you can simply add additional test tube for the colony, and they will either move in or drink the water. Theoretically, you can repeat this process indefinitely, given that you have enough space. There is no one-size-fits-all for ants. Some ants require a massive amount of moisture, and some likes to keep things dry. But tubs and tubes setup is a good compromise for most ants, and some even prefer it. I hope you guys found this video helpful or informational, and if you did, please consider subscribing, as I will be covering all aspects of ant keeping in this series. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!